Welcome back to Tarot by the Bay. I'm David. It is Thursday, May 18th. George Santos. Okay, George. Apparently, there was a vote that the Democrats bought to put it to a vote to have him removed from office. And instead, with a vote along party lines, they referred the resolution to expel Santos over to the Ethics Committee, which has 60 days to do nothing. Well, maybe they'll do something. I'll throw on that. But more interesting, and falls under the Lena Rodriguez adage of too much news and not enough gossip. Here's the fun part, that there's a woman named Naysa Woomer, who was his communications director. She apparently worked for Charlie Baker, who was the governor of Massachusetts, and Ryan Costello, Thomas Massie, and Tim Huselkamp. Anyways, these are all Republicans. And she was Santos's communication director, and she just rage quit on him. And she didn't miss words. Quote, "With respect for my colleagues, the people of New York, and most importantly myself, I am honored to tender my resignation." And she had one pointed comment. "Unfortunately, you never took 1 point of professional advice given." If that's not a clown car dumpster fire of a statement, I don't know what is. Mr. Santos, you are a mess. All right. So let's have some fun, shall we? This will be a more lighthearted reading. There's really nothing we could do with Santos. This guy's a clown. But okay, let's find out. Okay, so Spirit, give us a little bit more of the tea on Naysa. Naysa? Ms. Woomer, how about that? Give us the tea on Ms. Woomer. Let us know how she really feels. For entertainment purposes only. Oh my. Okay, so there's the dark money, the stuff going on behind my cards upside. Yeah. Okay, so this is, the guy being elected and the people pulling the puppet strings behind him. And then you got the 3 dark pentacles, the dark money that's behind him. And we know that he's embroiled in all sorts of money scandals. Plus, didn't somebody put up like $500,000 to bail his butt out? And who was that? Who's funding this guy? So I think not only is she revolted by this guy just being a scumbag, but there's a lot of ugliness that's going on back there. And that's going to be crossed with the magician. His ability to lie. His ability to, just create his own reality. Yeah, she basically left for 2 reasons. 1, it's corrupt. And 2, so is he. And just as a little sneak peek that I saw underneath this, Page of Swords underneath, she might be letting some people know what's going on in that campaign. You don't irritate a woman like this. She may let a few things slip out that will help investigators. She may not be the most wonderful, warm human being. I don't know who she is or anything about her, but yeah, she's gonna probably take this a little personally, and that fiery email is probably gonna be followed up with some other stuff too. George, in the past, was really excited. Here's this new guy. He's this young man. He's going to be dynamic. He's really he's the next generation, your next generation of Republicans. And they were excited. They flipped the seat. They took over the House. And here we go. It's opening day and it's going to be absolutely fabulous. Don't you just wonder what's the card of dumpster fires? Oh, okay. It's not a dumpster fire. It's the Hierophant. Maybe I need to make my own deck. The tower will be a dumpster fire. I'm trademarking that. The dumpster fire deck. Okay, so we have right now the current situation, the Hierophant. That the government, specifically, this isn't working. He isn't working. He's being kept around because McCarthy needs his vote. That's the only reason this guy is around. And it's the only reason why he's being protected right now. His case got referred to the ethics panel again. We'll review on that one. But this is all government. This is all politics. And the lesson to be learned is the King of Cups. Okay, so the King of Cups can be a very emotionally immature man on the low end, and I think Santos is that. He's just not a mature person. He's a manipulative person. And again, I've had cards in the past like Ace of Cups, stuff like that. He plays on people's emotions. He's really, really good at that. He's like Donald Trump. He's really good at reading people and knowing which buttons to push in order to get what he wants out of that. And she sees that now with him, and that she fell victim to it as well. Lesson to be learned, the Nine of Cups. Santos is sitting pretty. He's getting everything that he wants, and he's not doing much to maintain it other than being a warm body sitting in a chair. And that's only, again, the only reason why this guy is around isn't because he's so wealthy or wonderful. He's a warm body in a chair with an R after his name. And he's sitting there all smug right now, but I think the voters in New York will have something to say about that in a year and a half's time. Outcome. Star card. I think, she's moving on, and I think she's going to call attention to some of his things, and I think that she will help, probably help with his undoing, because again, underneath it we've got the Page of Swords. We've got what could be like the spy in the camp. She just might give up some information on Georgie boy there, because he's not an ethical person. He's a lie. I mean, he's horrible. He's just a child in a man's body. Okay. So that's kind of what's going on. Oh, let's have a little bit of fun, shall we? While we're doing this, Ms. Woomer, what's your opinion of? So we looked at this situation. What's your actual opinion of George Santos? In a card with some qualifiers. What's your real opinion of this guy? I mean, we only have to read her resignation letter to understand what her opinion is of this guy. He's a clown. But, let's see what the cards have to say. That's just David's intellectual mind at work. What do the cards have to say? What is this guy? Okay, this one must be on top. Here we go. He's a pain in the butt. He is so difficult to work with. Everything is a challenge with him. You have to be really patient, and he's toxic. No matter how patient you are, he always turns the situation into something toxic. He's a drama queen. He's a nightmare to work with. Why would I do this to myself? My God, what was I thinking? And it's time for me to go. And underneath it, and anybody who asks, I'm going to let them know. So, yeah, I wouldn't want, he did a bad job in letting this woman go angry like that, and doing things that were embarrassing, and ignoring the guidance she was given. She was trying to give him. He ignored it, and that's going to be to his peril and his detriment. Okay. Now, Mr. Santos, the Ethics Committee. What's the Ethics Committee going to do? Spirit, 60 days from now, the Ethics Committee is supposed to come up with a ruling. How are they going to rule? What's going to happen with the Ethics Committee? What's going to happen with that Ethics Committee? All right. This is a four-carder. Nothing. He's gonna bamboozle them like he's bamboozled everything else. Well, at least here's George Santos card. Let's see what's underneath it. Ooh, maybe not. You got the 5 of coins out in the cold. Huge disappointment and betrayal. And do I have enough? Maybe that ethics committee is actually going to do something because somebody's moving from troubled waters to calmer shores. How interesting. They're going to take that back. This ethics committee might actually do something. Okay, so the signifier card was the magician. And again, it's kind of this is kind of like my George Santos card for Major Arcana. So this is a big decision that's going to impact him because he's the master illusionist. And there's just this absolute feeling of betrayal. And I think it's George Santos feeling the betrayal. I don't think it's the ethics committee. I think it's George feeling the betrayal. Why? Because he's being kicked out. And now he has to evaluate, do I have enough? Have I saved enough? Have I done enough on this? And, and away you go. He could be censured, which I don't think would bother George that much, other than maybe if you censured, it dries up the money and he doesn't have enough. He will be at a minimum censured, if not told to go. I wonder if enough information comes out on his court cases or something happens with McCarthy that McCarthy has to do that. Let's find out. How's McCarthy going to... Once the ethics committee comes up with their recommendations, what's McCarthy going to do? I don't know what happens with the ethics committee. I don't know if they can do anything or if they can just make recommendations. There's so many charges against this guy, and these are charges that are easily provable. I mean, this is going to be a slam dunk case that the feds have on him. So what's the ethic? What's McCarthy going to do here? What's McCarthy going to do with this once the ethics panel makes their decision? Spirit, can you give me a little insight as to what Kevin McCarthy's going to do? I got the Page of Wands. You might have to come up with a new plan, new branding, new person, young person, going forward with an offer. There's the backroom dealing again. And the world, things coming to an end. And on the bottom of the deck, there he is. Showed up again. Okay, so Kevin's going to have to come up with a new strategy, a new plan, new thoughts, new course of action. Why? Because maybe the Republican establishment is done with this guy and they want him gone. And they don't care if Kevin's going to have one less vote. This guy stole money from them. So go up to him with an offer to get him to go, to get him to resign, because it's his time. His time is over. Okay. All right. I'll take your word on it. So we'll find out in 2 months' time how accurate this reading is or is not. So there you have it. George Santos. His communication director is pissed. She's probably going to help the Fed's case and maybe a couple other things to force the ethics committee and McCarthy to get rid of this guy. I'm on board with this. Not because I want a Democrat in there, that'd be lovely, but I just can't stand people who have no integrity. And he doesn't. All right, I hope you enjoyed this video. Entertainment purposes only and all that good stuff. I'll catch you on the next one. Have a good night.